Carmel Marathon Weekend 2026 is finally in the books. It seems like we've been talking about that race for a long time now. Our team was about half the size of what was originally scheduled to run in April. We had just over 30 today in all 4 races. Our first finisher in the 5K PR'd, and someone who's been running 5Ks for a while, so that's kind of a big deal. And our final 2 marathon finishers had great days as well. I was really psyched about their performances, especially because they spent some time in the heat. So this week I'm going to go over 2 weeks of training. I'll be doing some traveling, which will make doing a video next week a little bit more difficult. So we're going to talk about the week of June 1st and the week of June 8th. You can go through it all at once if you want, or save something for next week. So the week of June 1st, high quality workout, 400, 300, 200, 100 hill repeats. This is one of the higher intensity workouts that we do because not only are we running short and fast, we're doing it uphill. So this is a really strong workout. I'll talk about some exceptions to that at the end of this. So most of you have 3 to 5 times 400, 300, 200, 100. Generally, I think of this workout as 4 times 400, 4 times 300, 4 times 2, 4 times 1, or whatever your number is. I suppose you could do 400, 300, 200, 100, but I always like doing it this way because once you're done with the 400, you're done. You're not coming down to 100 and then have to change your gears and go back to 400. There's certainly some benefit in doing it that way, but generally, and at the group run, I'll encourage you to do all the 4s, all the 3s, all the 2s, all the 1s. Now, this is a workout that when I was training on my own between college and when Coach Benson coached me, I kind of came up with this on my own and I found it was very effective. So that's why it's still in the rotation here. The hill selection is kind of a big deal since it's a hill workout. Ideally, you have a hill that's 400 meters. We have access to that in Arden, so we'll use a 400 meter hill there. And you'll just start at the bottom and simply go up 400. If you have a hill, but it's not all that steep, that's okay. You'll just run faster. You know, if you can't really tell it's a hill, maybe that doesn't count. Maybe do a little bit of scouting ahead of time and find something that's a little bit more suitable. If you have a hill that's maybe 200 meters and we're trying to do this workout, that's okay, but start each rep at the bottom of that hill. So your first 200 of your 400 is uphill. And as you can imagine, and you'll feel very quickly, if that first 200 of a 400 is uphill, you're still feeling that for the last 200. So start the repeats at the bottom of the hill. If you don't have one that's long enough. On the recovery jog, these recovery jogs get long. If you're going up 400 and you have a full 400 meter recovery jog, if you do that slow-mo jogging, it can take a long time. You're going downhill, so you can go a little bit faster. You're also going to be, it's going to be a little bit easier effort because gravity's on your side, but keep that moving. When you hit the 400, turn around as quickly as possible. You have plenty of time to recover. When you turn around, you'll feel like I can't get recovered and still move. I have to walk or stand here to recover. It's long enough that you're going to be fine. And if you turn around right away, there's probably a little bit more training benefit to that first maybe 50 meters, maybe 100 meters of that 400 recovery. So keep that moving. This is a great strength training workout. If we just wanted to get stronger, we wanted to do strength training, but you didn't want to do it in the gym, you didn't want to use weights or any kind of resistance, okay, let's go run some hills. And that's a great way to do strength training. It's also a great economy, raising your VO2 and therefore allowing you to run faster at each percentage of VO2, and then good old-fashioned speed are things you're going to get from this. So if you're coming out of a break, if you're thinking this workout might be a little too intense for me right now with how I'm feeling, maybe there's a little ache or pain, this is a good enough workout that if you just run these and think of it more as a continuous hill workout, and I know I've put that on some people's pre-activity comments, if you just do it as a continuous hill workout, it's going to be very effective as well. Obviously, going anaerobic as prescribed, it's beneficial in a different way and at a higher level. But if you're not quite sure that's right for you, you can do that as continuous hills. The moderate quality workout, 75 to 85% steady state run. We're building stamina. We don't need to talk too much about that. Most of you have 3 to 5 miles on that one. The long run. We talk about goal pace long runs, endurance building long runs, all those different types of long runs. This one, and I mentioned this, I think last week or the week before, this is a more from less long run because it is shorter. But if we just say, oh, this is a shorter long run, you're selling it short because you're going to get a lot of benefit out of this, even though the overall distance might not be impressive based on what's normal for you. So we're doing 2.5 minutes at 75 to 85%. And yes, for 2.5 minutes, 75 to 85% should be faster than it is up here where you're maintaining it for 3 to 5 miles. So it's maybe half marathon race pace, maybe a little bit faster than that. We're doing that, a few warm-up miles, and then 2:30 at 75 to 85%, roughly half marathon pace, maybe faster. It's definitely too hard for a long run. So if that feels comfortable and you think, oh, I could go, no problem, I could do 10, 12 miles at this, then go faster. You're not going fast enough. And then 5 minutes at 65 to 70%. You keep moving. You're not slamming on the brakes. It's not a complete slow-mo recovery jog, but it is a relaxed recovery or relaxed long run effort. And because it's recovery from that 2.5 minutes, it doesn't feel quite as easy as 65 to 70% normally does. So when I originally wrote this workout, I guess I tried to get a little bit too cute because I put 6 to 8 miles worth of 2:30 and 5. And that's 7.5 minutes for each one. For most people, or for a lot of people anyway, that's basically the same as a mile in a long run. And then I started having people that were either really fast or slower, and it was coming out a lot higher or a lot lower than I wanted it to be. So think of that, if it says, if your version of the workout says 6 to 8 miles of, think of that as 6 to 8 reps of. So there's the week of June 1st. The week of June 8th, we start with mile and quarters. Nothing terribly fancy about this, but it is effective. We're starting with the mile at 90%. And when I would do this workout, this was one that Coach Benson, I don't know if we ever ran quarters without doing a mile first. And it got to where I thought of it basically as a mile time trial. I'd go out there and go as hard as I could go for a mile, 400 meter recovery jog, and then right into the quarters. So 90%, you're definitely anaerobic at the end. You're not necessarily sprinting off the line, but it should be a good hard effort, which of course, I'm going to say it, means the warm up is very important. Make sure that you're running fast and doing some heavy breathing in the warm up. So mile at 90%, that is great economy building, VO2 max. And then most of you have 6 to 10 quarters or 400 meter reps with 200 meter recovery jog. If you're going to do this on the road, you can also just use equal time. So if you run your quarter and you're doing it in 80 seconds, slow-mo recovery jog for 80 seconds, that's close enough. Because typically when you do these, the 200 meter recovery jog takes about the same amount of time as the 400 that you ran faster and harder. These are at 90%, so anaerobic. I'm not too worried about percentage of heart rate. You're pretty much going as fast as you can go. If you overcook these, then you can't do 6 to 8 of them. If you treat them like a true 400 meter race, you need a whole lot more than equal time recovery to come back and run more of those. So there's some control in that, but they should be hard and they should be fast. Now, if the workout goes bad, I'll use my 80 example, 80, 80, 82, 84, 88, 92, okay, your workout's gone bad. For that one, after one where you can tell, okay, this got away from me, double your recovery. So rather than equal time or 200, jog 400 meters or jog double time. Get recovered, reset, and finish strong. Now, who knows what the weather is going to be by the time we get there? That might be a weather thing, so an extra recovery jog may or may not help, but that's your kind of your fail-safe method to get the workout back and make sure that all of the reps are good. Moderate quality, aerobic interval mix. We're doing 40 80s, 30 60s and 20 40s. Yes, very simple. You're running fast for half of the time that you're going to recover. And this is written as aerobic interval. So as fast as you can go and stay in aerobic. So you're cranking, maybe all out mile, maybe all out half mile pace, but for 40 seconds, it's not too bad. And by the time you start breathing hard and would start going anaerobic, you're jogging, getting full recovery. Now, for some of you who have been back at the quality for a little while and you're thinking 5K racing coming up soon or monumental mile coming up soon, and you feel like you've recovered from the mile and quarters, then you can hit these hard. There's not a whole lot of them. It's not a long workout. Again, it's not long. It doesn't look impressive when you look at it, but it is a very effective workout, whether you do it as aerobic intervals or if you do it running really fast. And then because we ran fast, the long run is an endurance maintenance long run for especially you marathoners. This is not going to be an endurance building workout, but it's longer. It's keeping that mental callus to being out there for a while. It's maintaining enough endurance that as we do the high quality, you can do more reps without breaking down or without slowing down significantly throughout the workout. And we'll also keep the weekly mileage up a little bit. So there are your next 2 weeks. If you have questions, let me know.